Hey everybody, I'm Dave with Growing Home Garden. You guys know I like plants. I also like propagating plants because I really like getting free extra plants. And that's a really cool thing to do. But today I just happened to be going by one of the box stores and I found something that was pretty cool. This is pink Muhly Grass, Muhlenbergia, it's a capillaris. And what's cool about this plant is it puts off these plumes of purple seed heads in the fall. And when you plant them in mass in a large grouping, they look amazing. I've seen some really cool displays, but I don't have any in my garden, so I thought, well, let me get some for this time. But what's really cool about this particular pot is how many plants I can actually get out of this one potted plant. And that's what's really cool. Let's take a look at this and let me show you how many plants we can actually get out of this one plant. Plant cost me $15. We can maximize our investment on that plant by making a lot more. So I've talked a little bit about this before, but if you go to a nursery center and you check out the base of the plants that you're looking at, and you notice here that I've got one very distinct piece right there in my hand, and then there's another right here. And then if I turn it around, I've got a third right there as well. So at the nursery, they put in 3 separate plants into this one pot. And now I have 3 plants that I can easily take out of this. So instead of being a $15 plant, I've got 3 $5 plants. And each of those will be able to be divided in the future. I may be able to get some extra divisions even out of these 3. So let's take a look and see what we can do with this. Okay, so let's take a look. Now before I start, of course, if you think it's cool to get free plants or bonus plants, hit the like button. Subscribe, feel free to do all that stuff. But here's what I've got. There's the root ball. You can see got tons of roots here on the outside. It's almost as if it's a little bit pot bound, and it probably needs to be separated in some way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently work around the exterior of this and kind of break it up a bit. And I'm going to see if there's any way that I can get in here and just kind of pry these apart. I'm betting there's not. I think I'm going to have to use a little bit different of a method here than just lightly breaking it up. I did water this beforehand, so it is moist, and it's pretty pot bound. I mean, just look at that. It's been in that pot too long. They probably shouldn't have put all 3 of those in there for the sake of the plant. But I need to go grab something, and we're going to try a different way. Okay, so I just went and got a trowel. It's got a pretty nice sharp edge here, and I'm going to just take it and I'm going to center it on the 2 plants here, and we're going to cut in the center of this pot-bound pot. And we're going to divide the roots. So I'm going to go about halfway in the middle. Since it's kind of in 3, I'll just work my way through there. And then I'll turn onto the other side and do these other 2. And it's okay, everywhere you cut these roots, they are going to regenerate new roots. It's kind of like a root pruning. So, and this is not that hard if you have a sharp enough trowel. And then I'll just gently pry those loose. And they're a little bit intertwined with the foliage here. So here's the roots. You can see where it all got separated. Still has plenty of roots to grow from. The soil is damp, and I could probably divide that again. I'm just looking at that little spot right here, and that looks like a good division point if I wanted to break it down further. But I think at this point I'm just going to settle for the 3. I think that's pretty good for my uses anyway. So I end up with 3 of these plants that I can plant out. I'm going to put them in our front garden, and they'll be really nice next fall, but hopefully I can get some divisions off of those sometime in the spring and make some additional plants. So, and that's Muhlenbergia capillaris. It's a really cool ornamental plant. If you want a different type of ornamental grass too, I highly recommend switchgrasses. I've got several of those in my yard and garden, and they are just always fantastic. So here you can see all the extra roots that are coming out the sides of that. We've got 3 really good sized divisions, all of which have good roots that we can grow off of. So I will probably on the exterior side scuffle those up a little bit more using the trowel, my hands, whatever I have, and just make sure that these are not going to be pot bound. And then I'll repot them, and probably in another week or so plant them out in the front garden bed where I have planned for them. So I'd like to get them out there with some other things this fall as I'm redoing that garden bed. And you can check back and see what that video was like, because I just cleared out a whole bunch of stuff out of that bed in the last video, and next thing I need to do is get that area kind of mulched and finished cleaned up. Alright, so we're putting these into some pots that I had laying around and filling them in with some soil, just regular potting soil for now. Once we've done that, we'll water them up real good. Let them grow for another week or so. Oops. Got the leaves all entwined in there. Once they've had time to acclimate to being separated, I'll go ahead and put them in the ground. Now, you really could just plant these right in the ground. My thing is, I don't really have the bed ready yet where I want it to be before I can actually put these in. So I want to give them a little bit of time, but I did want to go ahead and get them separated so I'll have an easier time with it when I do plant them. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with going ahead and planting them in. So here we go. There's 1, 2, and 3 right here like that. I've got them on a little tray here, but they all look pretty good. They're good sized clumps, nice and healthy. Now we just come in with some water. A lot of times I'll give them just a little bit of water to start from, and then come back and let it all soak through. That way you're not kind of pushing water or pushing soil out of the pots too much. Sometimes that happens. But you just water until you see water coming out of the bottom of each pot, and then you know it's all wet. And so that's basically it with dividing an ornamental grass like Muhlenbergia. In this case, they were in 3 easy clumps in the same pot, and I ended up with 3 plants for just $15. So that's $5 a plant. Not bad. And they're all pretty decent sized plants if you check those out right here. Good sized pots. So my next step is to let these grow for a little bit longer, get them out in the bed that I have planned in the front. But that bed is not ready yet, and that's why I'm putting them in pots for now. You can go ahead and plant them directly in the soil and just water them in, and you'll be fine that way too. They're pretty hardy plants, and they are great when you plant them in mass. So if you can get a few of these pots that happen to have several in each pot, you can do really well. Spread them out to give them about 18 inches apart or so, and they'll quickly grow into a nice mass planting for you. So I'm Dave with Growing the Home and Garden. If this video was helpful or interesting, please hit the like button and subscribe. We'll catch you next time.